Alrighty. Welcome to the Rime the Frostmaiden wrap up, postmortem, reminiscing episode. We finished the campaign 3 weeks ago, and we're at the end of the year, and we're meeting up again just to go over, talk about how you guys felt about the campaign, other things you might have missed, or any questions you guys had. Pretty much that. The way I kind of had this thing figured out is that we'll pretty much like go through kind of the chapters and talk about them each, and then if he has any questions about that chapter, we can I can answer them or anything like that. Or if there's anything you guys want to talk about, like your favorite moments or anything like that, we can talk about that too as well. But I guess the first thing I want to ask is just go around and just say, like, how'd you guys feel about the campaign? Like overall, like anything, good or bad?
I had a great time. It's my first campaign fully complete start to finish, so it was amazing.
Alright, awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, same here. It's first campaign that I really played in. I've done some like one-shot stuff here and there, but yeah, this is the first one, and it was pretty awesome. I didn't really realize how long a year is until you're there, right?
Oh yeah. A lot of people, they get excited for the idea of a campaign, and they sign up, or even worse, they get really excited about a campaign, and they're like, "I'm going to run this campaign," and they have no idea what kind of a commitment that actually is. I mean, it's crazy enough when people are like, "Hey, you want to play on the company softball team? You want to coach Little League this season for your kid?" That shit. That's not as long as the average D&D campaign. Average D&D campaign is a long time. There's some shorter campaigns out there, like the Dragon Heist and Acquisitions Inc. and stuff like that. But most of them run about a year. Curse of Strahd, the one that everybody loves so much, that's a year and a half, 2 years long. Especially if you're only meeting up like once a week for 3 hours, or every other week, or scheduling concerns and all that. I was very confident that if Dom said he was gonna do this, that he would do it, and that was. I mean, Dom is the reason I signed up for this. I knew that if he was going to undertake this, he was going to take it from start to finish. So I'm very happy I signed up for it.
Awesome, thanks. Means a lot. All right.
Also, production values were through the roof. So
yeah. I was very impressed by that.
Yeah, it goes Dom, and then Red, and then me. Like that's the production values that I've encountered playing Dungeons and Dragons. Like that's, I mean, yeah.
I don't know, man.
I'm not going to be able to make any more Foundry things unless I go with the full stop with all the JP2A having everything set up. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, this is the crazy thing is that, my first campaign, and I think Dom set the bar so high, I'm afraid to go somewhere else.
Yeah, no, it happens. I've gotten messages from people that I don't put as much stuff into my technical stuff as Dom does, and I've had people complain to me. They're like, I try to play D&D, and after playing in your game, it's just like it just feels like nobody's even trying. Nobody cares. Blah blah blah. And it's kind of a double-edged sword, because like you can have a great time playing D&D without any bells and whistles.
Yeah.
We're playing IRL Witchlight in my household, and we had miniatures to move around on a map of the opening area just to kind of track where everybody was, and that's it. Everything else was theater of the mind. I was lazy. I didn't even go and get handouts printed out or anything. Everybody still had a really good time. So like, it is possible, but yeah, I mean, after playing in this, I mean, just look at the screen we're looking at right now, right? The screen we're looking at right now, and then you try to play a game with a DM who bought the basic bitch store-bought module for Roll20. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you ever really gonna enjoy it as much? Honestly, like. That DM's gonna have to deliver in a lot of other areas to make up for some of that nonsense. Like,
So I will say
yeah.
that one of the reasons why I kind of went up was since I'm pretty good with this Foundry stuff. Like, I decided to go all out with that because I know that I'm not the best at like doing voices or like making a character be interesting. Like like a lot of it has to be dependent on like the story itself that I'm running. Because
those are harder things to learn, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and those are things that you have to polish over a long time. You, as an architect, right? As an artist and architect, you already had these skills to kind of build on. So it totally makes sense to kind of utilize that to create a very strong foundation to build your other skills on. So, and by the end, I was crushing hard for Quan. There was a couple of panty dropper lines you put in there at the end that I was like, damn, okay.
I learned a lot from
I teared up when
Soul
Grandma died, so.
Yeah, I actually teared up. You got Red to cry. Not a huge achievement, honestly, but you got Red to mute his mics and cried out when Grandma died. So you had some poignant moments. Yeah, you choked me up when I almost killed my mom. So you did elicit emotional responses as a DM. That's huge.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think you did admirably. I think you did very, very, very well.
It definitely improved going forward. Yeah, like from the beginning sessions. I actually went back and like skimmed through almost all the sessions.
I can't watch like episodes 1 through like 10. I can't. It
was definitely improved over time for sure.
Yeah, and God, and the fact that you let me in your group and then didn't kick me out of your group was pretty amazing, honestly. Because I got really impatient, especially in the beginning. Because I mean, I haven't played with a new DM in a while, and you just kept like the thing that got me in the beginning was you would ask us like 5 or 6 times if we really wanted to do something, and like. We should have probably just gotten the fucking polls out, like the poll module, and just that way you could see that we really did, like we had unanimously voted that we were gonna do something, because it was like you wanted to like show us all the content that was in an area, and then we're like, nah, we're good, and you're like, but are you sure? And we're like, totally sure. We're getting out of here. And I could tell at certain times you were asking us because it was new DM and confidence, and in some cases it was we were making bad decisions and missing out on things. And sometimes it was we were making bad decisions and putting ourselves in danger. But yeah, that was definitely one of the things early on that I was like, I don't know if I could do this whole campaign if he's gonna fucking ask us 5 or 6 times about everything that we do. One of the things about that is that
like a lot of times I'll ask you guys the question and 2 people will say yes, we're gonna do this, and I'm like, the other people don't say anything, and I'm like, are you guys sure? I'm kind of waiting for the other people to be like, yeah, we want to do that too. So yeah, if I had started doing the polls at the beginning, that probably would have helped out too.
We lean hard on polls module in my other games to keep things moving, like especially with Skull and Shackles towards the end. Well, no, Skull and Shackles I just started bossing them around towards the end. But the two Odyssey games, we definitely use those to basically, we've debated the morals of this long enough. Vote, and then we move on. Yeah.
I will say though, eventually it got to the point where I realized that a lot of times, like, when the 2 or 3 people say yes and no one says anything else, that's them saying yes as well.
Well, also, right, because there's different types of play styles, and for the most part, like KZ, Klank and Vitos, were more like spectator, like player, like we'll just kind of go with the flow. Zathu was kind of spectatory a lot of the times. And even me to a certain extent, where I was like, Red knows, like Red/Selena. Red/Selena knows what's going on. I'm having trouble following the thread here. So like, whatever Selena wants us to do, I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah, towards the end, it felt a lot like I was just kind of driving the story, and I didn't. At some points, I didn't really feel comfortable like deciding on like what we should be doing.
Yeah, like in the beginning, I was definitely like, we should go here. Yeah, we should do this, because I could feel that there was a lot of indecision because it was a sandbox campaign, which is always rough. And especially if you're new to D&D, you don't know exactly what you could do. You don't know the repercussions of choosing A versus B versus C. And if you know there's more experienced people in the group, you kind of want to see what those people are going to choose. And so yeah, like, but I think we eventually got like a really good like system down. We kind of like really everybody kind of learned what the other people were after and what the other people were interested in, and I think overall towards the end we had a really good chemistry as far as passing that spotlight back and forth between the different characters for the different things that were going on, and you know, people having their areas of specialization and those clutch moments that we knew this person could handle it more than anybody else. So yeah, I liked that towards the end.
What really helped for that too, going through, is just having the secret. Like, I'm glad this module had those secrets, and like they gave me something to work with. Like, I guess, you know, if you guys want to, I'm pretty sure we know everybody's secrets. Yeah. Everybody who got the secret, like, go ahead and we'll go one at a time. I'll go in order on Discord. First person is Klank. Your secret.
Oh, my secret was pretty easy. It was the dwarf thing, right? And then mine got solved so early on. Like, it was just resolved pretty early.
It was the stone.
Yeah, the stone.
Yeah, the orc stone.
Yeah, so I just leaned hard into that. You know what I mean? Just
I guess that's Clank likes rocks. Yeah. So I will say there was a little bit more with that you guys never went to. It had to do with going out and exploring the waste a little bit more where you went. Like, there was a couple times where if you had followed up with that dwarf that you found in the Dwergar place, it would lead to something with that. And
yeah, we never went to really explored the waste outside, near 10 towns. Like, we were always like, let's go way out over here or way out over here, and made like this long trek. So there's not much exploring. Like, we even skipped a whole town, right?
You never went to.
There was a lot of content.
So I will say, chapter 1, it's every single town has a quest, and there's like 3 other quests that are just happening between the towns as well. So and the milestone is 5 quests.
That's extremely ambitious for the first part of the campaign. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and then people were selling additional supplements for what I think was already a pretty robust sandbox. A lot of those supplements were because nothing connected. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll let you know, there's supposed to be 3 threads throughout this entire campaign. One is dealing with Auril, and the way you get that early on is by dealing with all the frost druids doing stuff. But you guys never ran into any of them in the first chapter.
What's a frost druid?
So I looked this up at the end because I only recognized her name after I rewatched the video. Ravison was the frost druid that was going around awakening all these animals, and Angajuk told us that, but it just didn't click. And then when she showed up at the final fight, I'm like, who the fuck is that? Who are we fighting right now? She's one awake. She's like awakens the lake monster. She awakens. There's like 12 awakened animal quests after.
Well, Klank, even though you finished half of your secret backstory so early, you were still the MC. You were still the MC.
Pretty much. I mean, he went and became a member of the Worm Doom tribe.
Yeah,
he was one who came through and did that. He was the first person to get one of the cut-ins. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. My Hellebor's backstory secret, I think they had 2. Mm-hmm. One was they were an orphan who idolized Dritz Duerden and maybe met Dritz Duerden as a kid, had like a piece of his cloak or something. But the other part of that is you have no idea why you're an orphan. So for me as a player, everything that I found out about being a baby in the lake, and the mom working for the Frostmaiden and all that. That was all surprise to me. I basically told Dom like, whatever you want to do, like, you know,
There's a secret where you're supposed, like, the secret, you're actually supposed to know that your mom is the person and you're supposed to be out for revenge. But the way you kind of made your character is like, I don't know, Hellebore doesn't seem like I don't know if you said you don't know if she's the type to go out for revenge or anything like that. So,
well, at the beginning of the campaign, the idea was that she was just a bored, like, drug dealer, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
so that's why I was like, when you rolled that secret, I was like, okay, are you okay with me just taking care of this, and I'll just let you know that, you know, you're an orphan, and this person called Yomi Nartok is the one that found you and brought you home. That's all you gotta. That's all you know.
Yeah.
Everything else we'll find out along the way.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I like that style of play, honestly, of discovering your past and your secret as you play. Yeah. Very, very rarely do I roll up to a D&D game with my 24-page backstory and be like, like, please incorporate this into your already existing campaign. So, it was really a pleasure for me as a player to just kind of see it unfolding. So
now that I've done it, I think I like it when I at least get one person to do that. Because Ari gave me so much backstory for his character. It helped me out a lot, because there's a lot of, like, especially since Lena was supposed to be his sister. So, like, oh man, that kind of saved me with the whole drow part that's inside chapter 7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the drow just show up.
Yeah, they just show up
because it's near the Underdark, and they crave power. And even though when I thought you, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Go for it. No, keep going. Go.
Reddit. Yeah, they just said it's exactly what happened. You didn't have to change anything except put my name as, like, his last name. It's just a random drow dude that shows up with the gang of drow. They invade the city for a minute. They get repelled by the tomb tappers, and then they just like, oh yeah, we're gonna go get reinforcements to come back in 3 weeks. So you have to change anything. It was the written thing. I was like, oh man, that's great.
Came out really well.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a Hellebor's secret, which worked out really well, because you guys are gonna have to meet her eventually, and, like, good thing Hellebor survived until then to meet her.
Yeah, that was a great moment when Hellebor faced her mom.
Yeah.
It's gonna go down.
All right, who wants to go? Next? Okay, let me see. We got Klank. Next on this list is Safu. I don't think your secret came in, like, because since you joined in late, I gave you a secret, but I don't think you ever used it.
No, I never used it. I completely forgot about it.
Do you have it? Do you have it with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
My secret was the old flame one. I had, like, an old flame in 10 towns. That would have been helpful. Yeah.
So the way that secret works is that I don't know who it is, and that she pretty much has a card that says when you meet an NPC in 10 towns, you can say that it's your old flame, and that person is going to help you do what you, regardless of how the relationship ended or anything like that. They'll help you do something. You can pick any NPC.
Oh, that's nice. I love tokens that you can cash in for that kind of stuff. Yeah. Like open-ended tokens.
On the Discord, a lot of people end up using that on Avarice.
Oh, dang. Oh, wow, that would have been spicy. Oh my gosh. You could have used it on Magic Grandma.
You could have, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, you could have used it on Quan.
Oh, damn.
Oh shit! Why did I think of that?
Oh, damn. Ah, well, it all worked out. All
right. Go ahead, Red.
I mean, yeah, obviously came out at the end, but I had the Midwinter child secret, which was that I was born on a winter solstice, so I was connected to Auril in some way, and that at the beginning I didn't really think of add to that, but it added so much to my character towards the end, and, like, especially in the middle when everyone was like, when Crash was flipping on, like, why does Selena get an extra snowflake during the trials? I'm like, this is amazing. I love what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And that all come out, especially towards the end, was really great.
So I will say that chapter I had to make some adjustments because I'd used a different map because I wanted to use that I had gotten that when this came out I was like, there's an Ice Queen map from Heroic Maps, I gotta use this. So I ended up using that and I had to make some adjustments to the dungeon, but I kept most of the stuff in there. Like a lot of the encounters were all the same, which is turned out really well, I think. But yeah, it was a really good. I'm really glad you got of all the I'm really glad that the wizard got that backstory because I feel like kind of like at the end of this.
Yeah, I feel like
at the end of this thing,
if you don't have a wizard in like the party for this campaign, that's like a lot of like lost like intrigue and like drive by character. Like, because there's this whole secret order of these wizards running around doing stuff.
Yep.
And it lets them fit right in.
Yep.
But yeah, that secret really helped me play the character a lot better than I originally intended. And it was really funny. I asked Dom early on, like, I really want a pseudo dragon companion. Can I get like a pseudo dragon like familiar at some point? And then I think a lot of the reason we got stuck in the in the what was it, in the dwarf place, and we were just trying to leave, was this character here has like a Chardon like pseudo dragon companion. And I feel like that might have been Dom trying to keep us there so that he could make that happen for me, but in the end it was fine. It was really fun.
Wait, that versus a Chardolid no. Baby dragon?
She has a Chardolin pseudo dragon in the story. It was a gift to her. So the dwarves are like, the main guy Zardarox, he's just like wants to take over 10 towns in Icewind Dale, and he wants this lady, she's a leader of another clan's help to make it happen. So he gifts her like a tiny version of the Chardolin dragon.
He's completely whipped by her. Yeah, he want like you can try, and if you guys like found out that went in here and did diplomacy and talked to her first, you'd be like, yeah, can you like take him out for me and do that stuff, and you can go and try and tell him, Zardarok, that she's planning to do this, do something about it. He won't believe you. He's completely under her.
It's admirable how. It's admirable to me how Sandbox you ran this, because there would have been, I'm not gonna lie, there would have been temptation on my part as a DM that if I identified like certain things that like the party would have been more adept at, or like the composition would have been more suited for, or that like certain like backstories would have benefited from, I 100% would have started dropping like huge breadcrumbs, like just huge breadcrumbs. I would have diverted the river, as it were, in the Sandbox. I would have been like putting rocks down and like diverting the course of the campaign. But you kept it purely Sandbox. Like, if we encountered it, we did, and if we didn't, we didn't. If we showed up at a town and the in-game calendar said that NPC was not there, that NPC was not there. And so I can look back at the campaign and know that it was a completely organic, like Sandbox generated experience. So I do think that's really cool, because I think a lot of DMs would have been tempted to sort of force the narrative into the way they wanted it, or even worse than that, only run the content that they wanted to run. Which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But, if the intention of the adventure was to be a Sandbox, and then a DM kind of just says, well, these are the only 5 things that I really like, and then they kind of just, wherever you went, that happened to be the 5 things that happened, I could definitely see that being a way that this could have been run also. So to know that you were prepared to run literally anything that we encountered, as we encountered it, when we encountered it, that definitely adds some like uniqueness and some authenticity to the experience. So,
all right, Vitos.
Go ahead.
Vitos, your secret. I forgot. Since you're there.
Yeah, so mine was an escaped prisoner, but we modified it. So basically, it was I was brought here from another world by the mind flayers on the spaceship. That crashed in the mountains, and I was supposed to have almost died, and then basically be rescued, and that's how I came to 10 Towns. But Dom and I kind of mashed it together to where I was actually saved by a celestial lynx, which was tied to the demigod Bast, and so that's how basically Vitos became a celestial warlock, and why his obsession with cats was because basically this giant lynx saved him.
And actually, I did have a random encounter that in a specific area. If you guys went to the waste, where you would have run into that lynx, but again, you guys never went in that direct direction. So I guess because I don't really run random encounters like rolling. What I did was I put them in specific areas, and that's why I had you guys draw your
roots
route, so to see if you run through it.
Oh, why don't we see that?
That's a cool way to do it. Yeah.
Look at that map and see the crazy thing we ended up with.
Oh yeah.
Are they marked on the map, but on the GM layer? Or are they
no. I have my own little note that says this area.
Okay.
Like this, it's not like a specific note. It's like a radius. Like if they go in this area.
Oh, I didn't know if it was like Minesweeper. Like you had their minis seeded onto the map, and as soon as our marker went over it, you're like, haha.
So if you guys your route went near something, I would okay, you see this in the distance. Do you guys want to go to it? And that was like when you guys saw that smoke in the distance and stuff like that.
So I have to ask Vitos, as a D&D nerd, were you and your brother from Kryn? Because that would be super hype. There's I'd say Kryn's probably the best setting for goodly minotaurs. They have a whole nation, and they're all mariners, and they have sort of this Viking-esque culture that's all about honor. Well, I guess it's not really Viking, but with the boats, it's kind of like good Vikings, if such a thing could exist. I don't know.
So now that you say that, I'm have to go look that up because I have no idea about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Kryn was the Dragonlance setting. And there was actually playable minotaurs. So I think that was the first D&D setting with playable minotaurs, and they were not just dumb monsters that were cursed by Baphomet or whatever. They were a 100% legitimate race, and they had this whole culture and everything. It was really, really fascinating. So
some places you guys didn't go to,
but the way you played him, to me, was so civilized. And with the tea and everything else like that, that's what my suspicions were, was that he was a Kryn Minotaur. So, yeah. Well, anyway, it turned out really good. Yeah.
That's pretty cool though. Yeah, because I have nothing. I don't know about that at all. So I just basically was well, he's supposed to be super intelligent, so obviously he's going to be, kind of reformed, and stuff like that. So yeah.
It worked out. There's a couple places you guys didn't go to. One, a lot of the towns you never went to and did their quests. There's this one quest that is kind of like was a famous quest for this thing in the first one for East Haven, where they were the lady who was after they burnt down the wizard, and they're like, hey, there's some missing fishermen. Can you go and help me find them? She wanted the what's her name? Imdrift, the captain of the guard that was there. And you guys were like, nope, they burnt a wizard. We're not.
Yeah, yeah. That lady really wanted us to do a quest for her when we first got to East Haven.
And if you did a quest for her, it would take you to a cave where you had to fight a frost giant skeleton that was frozen. So it had 3 turns of it being frozen, and you could just beat it up before it can do anything. But and a hag.
And a hag?
Yes, and a hag. And this is in the chapter 1 where you're level 1 to 3. So,
yeah. Okay. Wow. Yeah. I had heard there was some TPK pitfalls in this adventure. So I entered every fight kind of nervous.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But if you did beat her, she had a cauldron called a Cauldron of Plenty. And it's a cauldron that just generates food by putting water in it.
Oh, that's cool.
That would have solved all our early issues.
Yeah,
right.
Or
there's
help
that.
the towns out. Like I
Yes,
remember,
and
you gave that option of like the dragon heart that was powering all the forges in Sunblight. You're like, we could bring that to 10 towns. That I felt
you got to figure out a way.
Yeah, as a goodly character, I was like, man, I want to make that happen, so these people have something to, help them survive.
Yeah.
I think with East Haven, we just saw the wizard burn, and we were like, oh, and then we had our
run in with Torga.
And then it just went south from there.
Yeah.
I mean, we just burnt that place down. We just chalked it off to, well, let's never go back.
East Haven had a lot had a lot of places, a lot of stuff in there. It had a seed for some Auril stuff with the innkeeper who was like a big Auril like fan. There was a seed for the what'd you call it? Dwegar, because you guys had gotten that note that talked about the ferry in East Haven. When you fought the Dwegar the first time, he had a note that said like some people were hanging out in East Haven inside of a ferry. So you got that was that there. There was the cauldron stuff. There's also stuff there that led to dealing with the leader of the Speaker of Targos. Him and his flying snakes. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in East Haven.
On the topic of TPK, was there ever an actual fight where we were pretty close and we probably should have died? Because I felt like there was only one or two fights where it was pretty scary. We managed to pull it out, and then other ones seemed like we just annihilated them. Maybe luck of the draw or something.
I mean, you guys did pretty good on pretty much all the fights, and I didn't have to. Honestly, I'm gonna let you know this right now. Some of the you guys do so much damage that some of the times I've had to like you do damage and like this would have killed the monster, but this would have killed
like two rogues. Like in the beginning.
It's not like I one-shotted
extra damage.
The most common place that you're gonna end up doing that as a DM is any of the power levels. So like level 5 for sure. Level 11 or 12 is another like big power spike. But level 5 especially. The first few fights you run, level 5, the amount of power in a D&D group in 5th edition spikes so hard that you just wipe everything that you come to. You just wipe it out. It's incredible. I tell people you're never gonna feel this strong ever again. Like level 5 is you're just never gonna feel this strong ever again. Like it is like when a superhero gets their powers for the first time. Like you're just never gonna feel strong again. And so I've learned over the last has it really been like 6 or 7 years now of 5th edition. To just kind of lean into it. It's like, oh, they're level 5, let them kick the shit out of stuff. But I always ready with the bosses to just have energy. I just got them energy tanks ready.
I only did that with bosses.
Yeah.
The only one monster I didn't have to do anything with was the Red Yeti. I didn't have to do anything with him.
Okay.
You guys did everything. That was a clean fight.
Do you want us to go Red Robin and tell us our favorite fight / thing that happened in the campaign, or
sure, that works.
Okay, and then you can kind of
I'll touch
give us some behind the scenes on those if they come up, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I guess Klank.
Yeah, I guess my favorite fight with the coolest. I think it was the first introduction of the really really big. Giffyglyph. Oh, this is a big phase transition. And everything for me was the Charlin Dragon.
Oh,
I mean that had a lot of cool, different abilities, different things. That now this thing's completely changed. We got to figure out something else.
Did Charlin Dragon even make it onto the final map here? There he is. There he is.
Yeah.
There's a cutie over there. Yeah. Oh no, I completely agree with Klank. That might have been the coolest fight of the campaign, in my opinion.
I originally, I'll tell you about that fight. I originally only had 2 phases for him, and then I gave him a 3rd phase during the fight.
Because we like burned through the first two phases too fast.
Yeah, you guys wrecked like you guys do way too much damage.
The decision to keep them huge was interesting because with enlarge and then grappling, I think that's part of why you came up started to immediately work on your grappling rules. Because that enlarging a person and then having them grapple a huge creature, that's good crowd control right there.
Yep.
And that can be avoided just by kicking your huge creatures up to gargantuan, which is easier said than done IRL, but super easy to do VTT. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, he like per adventure he's supposed to be huge, so I left him huge.
Yeah.
I mean, the one person who wasn't supposed to be huge per the adventure was Zardarok. He never was supposed to turn huge.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was a fantastic fight. I thought there was some really cool anime-esque, Final Fantasy-esque moments during the fight. I definitely had it definitely had that video game boss feel that Giffyglyphs was trying to deliver the whole time. And I think on that particular boss it was the most enjoyable, the most interesting.
So there was a turning point for me because you guys went and did this fought this boss after dealing with the Duergar, and I know the Duergar was such a pain for everybody, and so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna allow stuff to happen. That sounds cool, just because this is I've learned that it's not worth it. Because with the Duergar, I was constantly they're not gonna give up. We can, and I'm we're gonna have to roll initiative. Doing all this.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So
they're defending their fortress and all that. We got it. Yeah, we definitely got the message from them.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah,
really.
That was, and you and I discussed this in the end of the year thing where we talked about the homebrew that we used during the year. This came up was that the majority of the Duergar were all defenders. Yeah. So that's part of why it was such a grind. Was they were all Giffyglyph defenders and high DPS or no high DPS. It took flipping forever to burn through that Fortress of Duergar. I don't think I ever Dungeons of the Mad Mage. After that, Red and I were no more drow. And then after that fortress, I'm if I'm in an adventure and they're the Duergar are up to no good, I'll be good luck with that.
Yeah.
Peace.
No more drow, no more fucking magic darkness. There's no point. I can't even hit
what is with the Underdark and making enemies you just don't want to deal with after a while?
Yeah. Well, the idea through the 50 years of Dungeons and Dragons or whatever is the Underdark is supposed to be that high level zone, right? You're supposed to be where the toughest shit is anything past that, you're literally in hell. Yeah. So, I get it. I mean, they're even to this day, the legacy of them being Underdark is that they're just tougher and meaner, and they got more magical abilities and all that jazz. Yeah. I use them all the time as a DM. I think Duergar are fantastic bad guys. Been using them since I was a kid in 2nd edition. But yeah, they're rough. They're rough and rowdy. So yeah. All right.
I also felt bad because even though you said we did a lot of damage, I did not spec for any sort of damage whatsoever except for melee hitting things. You know what I mean? There was so many cleric spells that just do AoE ridiculous amount of damage that I just didn't even look at.
Well, it really, you and Vitos both had inflict wounds, and inflict wounds is very strong spell. Also in Giffy, you don't always know who's going to actually have elemental vulnerability, which is something that you don't normally get in 5e raw. So,
one thing about this thing too is that a lot of stuff was weak against thunder.
Yeah. Thunder, and I would assume, with all the radiant shit going around, there was stuff that was also vulnerable to necrotic.
Yeah, all of Auril's people that she made, she had an undead that was weak to necrotic. You guys wrecked that.
That was the big hug or whatever, or that was the Klank super crit. I don't remember which one it was, but both of you throughout the campaign delivered these huge fucking hits with your inflict wounds. So that was one of the major sources of damage in the campaign for sure.
Yeah, with Pac Tactics, I mean that's a lot of
and Klank always hit.
Yeah.
And one of your two rogues actually knew what they were doing. I'm sorry. One of your two rogues always managed to get a sneak attack in every single round. Sometimes 2 sneak attacks if she could get away with it. So like, yeah, I mean that's good reliable damage. I mean honestly, if you're playing a 5e rogue and you're not sneak attacking every round, you're not playing your rogue correctly. Because there's just enough ways to get sneak attack nowadays that like that's what you're built to do. Like a rogue in 5e is designed to deal that damage. But good on Dom for like not being a jerk about it. There's actually a lot of DMs that can't deal with the DPS of a rogue that actually gets its sneak attack every round. Like they go out of their way to try to prevent the rogue from getting a sneak attack.
I was actually upset because I wasn't giving it to you when you threw oil at people.
Yeah. The other thing is, as a DM, as you see the group growing, right, and you see what they're good at and what they're not good at, that also kind of determines like the sort of monsters you build and send at the party. For example, like if you know we're like really good at DPS, you could feel more comfortable sending more monsters, knowing that we're going to one-shot them, or beefier monsters, knowing that they're going to last a little bit longer.
Yeah, a lot of monsters turned into strikers instead of defenders. When I wanted somebody to be a defender, I just made them a striker.
Yeah,
they had a lot of HP and they would last a while, and that would be their way of defending.
Yeah, I got tired of the defender role real quick in Mythic. So yeah. Okay, well, my favorite thing that happened in the whole campaign, I don't know if it was actually a fight. Can you come back to me? I want to hear what everybody else has to say, if that's allowed.
Also, I will say this really quick. If you zoom out on this map, you can see that there's a person who always wanted to talk to you guys is hanging out in the upper right hand corner.
Oh, there he is, still trapped there to this day.
Yeah. All right. So next would be Volpe or Zafu. Do you have a favorite moment?
My favorite moment was the Charlatan Dragon fight, but to be original, my second favorite moment was becoming big. I'm so happy that I became big. I don't care that I missed out on some fights. I am big, and that's all that matters.
Great. I'm glad some like you guys went in that direction, because 2 things. One is for so that somebody can find that and turn big, and 2 for the drow thing too, because you guys that dungeon was really big, and you could have not went that direction, just went to the city and skipped the drow.
Because when I was scouting out originally, I saw the drow, and I was like, I'm very interested in going and seeing what the drow are about. If I was not a drow, or I was like, we should avoid the drow at all possible. Or regular, yeah.
Zathu, when you turned big, I felt so bad for your character for not getting into any of the towers that I was like, I do have greater restoration. That might work. But I was like, I don't want to offer that to her because you actually enjoyed being big. It's like, how do I get her in this damn tower? It was half my thought process.
So yeah, per the spell, the effect that's on Zathu, greater restoration would have turned her back to normal.
See, that's the tricky part there, because the blessing of embiggening, or whatever the hell it was, right? You said that was built into the adventure.
Yeah, what Zathu got was built into the adventure, yeah.
But then the content that she missed out on was DLC, essentially. And
the thing is, though, is like, yeah, it was DLC, but it was also based off of, because you still had to go to every tower and find the thing.
Right.
It was supposed to be theater mind when you went there. Like, they didn't have a map or anything like that, and it was like, it was like, you go in here, have them roll this check, and then have them find the thing, and then have them move on. So the DLC was like, okay, this is how they described the tower in the book. We're going to try and make it look like this in this map.
Yeah, it just kind of seems like a detail that got forgotten. I think with the DLC,
part of
what I'm
it,
saying?
Yeah, part of it did.
Yeah.
So that's why in some of the cases, I like like the tower, the ones that were big enough, I was like, okay, there's supposed to be like a glass thing here and everything like that. Sure, Zoth can climb up and break through it and come inside that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think, kind of in keeping with kind of the horror theme for a lot of stuff, especially towards the end there. I think there's definitely a worry that once you get that power, oh god, I'm in the glacier, I'm gonna get stuck. We need to get out of here. Like that, that mindset right after you get it, and also you rewrote it, I think, for her to get big, or like because it's only it's only
supposed to be certain classes. Yeah. But what I did was added if you're an Icewind Dale native,
which makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
So people who could have got it was Quan, Xathu, or Hellebore.
Or Klank.
Or Klank, yeah, or Klank.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious. Klank get big.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it specifically says you don't stop until you're 21 feet tall or something. So we would have a 20-foot one tall Klank.
Yep.
That would
oh my
super
god,
cool.
we missed out big time.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
He wouldn't be a large. He'll be a giant.
He'd be huge.
He'll be huge. Yeah.
So Red, what was your favorite thing from the campaign?
Oh man, so many. There's so many good moments. I really enjoyed this campaign.
Chase music.
I think my favorite thing, I really enjoyed blowing up my sisters with a really big AoE. That was to start the fight off. That was felt really gratifying as a evocation wizard. The other thing was that kind of fluke of a rivalry between me and Avarice, because I went to the book to check. Oh, did you make her an evocation wizard? No, she's actually an evocation wizard who does all these things. It has this personality type. And as soon as I met her, that was like, it's always fun to have rivals for characters, and that was like my biggest rival in the game was her.
The funny part is like, oh yeah, I have a raven familiar. I was like, oh, you have a raven familiar. I know somebody who also has a raven familiar. I can't wait to meet.
And 2 gargoyles. Like now, yeah, she was infuriating at all times, but it was so great.
So one thing with her is that you guys never went to like when you guys first went to Caerdinival, which is where she's supposed to be hanging out. You guys walked past it. You just went through it and went to East Haven. And so like you never actually interacted with her in chapter 1, which is where you're supposed to meet her. So what I did was I just had her show up at Revel's End. That doesn't happen in the book.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And it kind of made sense because her goal is that she wants to try and find the city. And one of the ways to find the city, for you guys to learn about the city, is to go talk to the prisoner in Revel's End. So I was like, okay, I'll have her be there when you guys arrive there. So you guys are deciding to go there.
Nice.
Also, would you totally let me, like, just because when I got that scroll of Illusory Dragon, I'm like, I know exactly what I'm doing with this, and I made a mini for it and everything. And you just you gave it a green flame breath and everything, and that was amazing. Seeing that, oh man, so good.
How dumb were we when we tried to steal her shit? Like I was
about to say. I think actually that might have been my favorite thing that happened in the whole campaign.
I'm trying to steal the staff for no reason, because everyone thought I wanted it for like.
We were just so wound up that night, just the dumbest Benny Hill shit, and like Hellebore was just on. Yeah, Hellebore was just on board for whatever nonsense that you guys were trying to do, and then sneaking it out to like the thing, and then telling Auril the dog that we're gonna have to hide it inside you, and like all this. It was just so weird, and then like yelling at all the guards whenever they were just trying to do their job. And
Ethan and Kevin are here.
Yeah, and it was just like the longest session of nothing actually happening. And I kind of loved it. I kind of loved the whole prison thing, even though it was sort of just like, it almost felt sort of like a red herring, like in a way.
So in the book, all you do is you go there and you can talk to the prisoner, and that's it. People made a lot.
There wasn't a ghost boyfriend for the warden or any of that kind of stuff.
She was possessed by a ghost best friend. Yeah, dwarven best friend. So that was part of the adventure. But like you're not supposed to pretty much interact with her or anything like that. Like there's hardly anything inside that chapter. It's like Like,
why would they give the warden a ghost best friend and then not want you to interact with them?
I don't know. Like everybody on the Discord is like, why the heck is Revel Den so sparse with stuff when there's so much good content here? So somebody made a supplement for it, which was like a prison break.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But we didn't actually do the prison break.
No, you didn't.
No.
We just did the staff break.
Well, no, we started. Remember, I turned invisible and I was like, I'm gonna go break that guy out. Then I'm like, no, these guys are all magical and can see invisibility, and this is a dumb idea. And I immediately backpedaled super hard.
Yeah, like if you guys try to do the whole prison break, and I was like, okay, how are you gonna do this at this level? Oh, I'm good luck. I mean, we'll work it out. I'll figure out something.
Yeah, literally.
That was another thing. We were still babies, and we had just gotten blown up like a couple of days beforehand.
No, it was the dragon. Remember the dragon? I think that was a really interesting encounter. Like we're just walking through the snow. All of a sudden, there's a big dragon there.
You walk through the snow, you just see like, there's a corpse.
Yep.
So that was an actual encounter that's part of the adventure. And you actually, when you guys were taking her treasure at the ship, I had to roll to find out if she shows up. You guys lucked out.
Oh, that's a pretty classic D&D trope. The press your luck encounter. Yeah. Like you see that there's treasure, the monster whose treasure this is way too tough for you. Do you still take the treasure? Do you take more treasure? Do you take more treasure? And you just keep rolling and rolling and rolling. Yeah.
You guys lucked out so hard. Like I was just rolling really well for you guys.
Yeah.
She never showed up.
Well, what was Vitos's number one like?
Yeah, so I really enjoyed the reminisce encounter, the whole like Mission Impossible Hellebore dangling from the ceiling with the dynamite, and then I think that's also the first time we polymorphed someone. So that was really entertaining.
I thought I was dead for reals that night. I feel like I kind of was. I feel like Dom was really nice and was like, Hellebore doesn't have a fate point anymore because Auril killed her. So I'm not gonna like dogpile Hellebore killer, even though I could. And then you kind of had the reminisce go in like different directions instead of just all like dogpiling me. And I was like, I guess I'm still alive.
Well, when a mammoth bowled in and hit mom, like of course the kids are gonna like.
Yeah.
I tried to be like, okay, I'm mammoth tank right now. I gotta be as loud as mammoth-y as I can. And I hope it worked.
That session was the one where I did make a backup character afterwards. Like I made a backup character after that session. I've had a backup character since that session. I had a drow shadow sorcerer, just waiting in the wings because I was like, because I mathed it out and I was like I could have died a number of times tonight, and so I want to make sure that I have something on the back burner just in case. Yeah.
And then I also, I'm still curious, that little, like, fox dude that we met in the library, like, would he have really messed us up? Because I remember you guys were like, don't poke the bear, don't poke the bear.
So, yeah.
Arcanoloth.
Yeah, he's an Arcanoloth, and the way I had him, he's a Giffyglyph Arcanoloth that I made, and the way I had him is that he was going to summon stuff when he goes fought up.
Oh, that would have been rough. Yeah.
Hold on, let me show you what he was going to summon. You might recognize this thing from, where is it at?
That was the fun part of this campaign for me, is like I've been playing this game for 28 years, right? And so I kind of know all the monsters, even if I don't want to know all the monsters, you know what I'm saying? And so like it was so nice with you respecking everything to be like, well, I know the nature of this monster, but I have no idea what Dom's done with this monster. Like everything was fresh. Oh. Nice.
He's gonna summon
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Those are gonna be his minions that he summons, 4 of them, and they do a lot of things. What they do is that every time they punch you, they teleport.
Oh, very cool.
So they would just run up, punch you, teleport away, and they had a multi attack, so they can like punch, teleport. It's gonna be a really fun, like, if you guys did mess with him. But I will say though, like, I don't think there's anything in the adventure about finding the actual book he's looking for.
No,
but when you rolled that 100, I was like, yeah, okay, he has to find it. Like that's it. You found the book.
Yeah, I think in the adventure, the book is not actually there.
No,
it's not there. What he's looking for isn't there. But then you rolled it, and we were just so hyped when you rolled 100 at a D100. It was like, that's amazing.
Okay, but what was Vitos' number one? Like,
it's definitely the Reminisce fight.
Definitely Reminisce. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just the whole encounter, like these massive snakes. I mean, it was pretty cool. We're all like trickling down the hole, and we're getting there, and then the whole mammoth and dynamite. I thought it was a very cinematic fight. I thought that was really cool. So
awesome.
Right, awesome. Awesome.
I did think Selena was gonna die. Sorry, you mentioned the demon or whatever against the hags. I thought Selena was gone.
Oh, I saw her die. I thought it was sad.
Yeah.
I had a cold sweat. Like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm. I felt so bad because like none of us knew what had happened to you. You know what I'm saying?
When you went there by yourself, I was like, oh crap.
Mm-hmm. Like if any of us had been like, oh well, I'm gonna go out and get a smoke. Like, are you really? You're gonna leave this mansion that costs $10,000 to enter to go take a smoke break? And then what's this dollhouse? There was absolutely no way to reasonably bullshit why we would go and check on you. It just never would have happened.
Absolutely, yeah. I feel like that would have even, like, if any of you had done that, that would have definitely robbed the moment of its, like, fuck.
Yeah, and
those tags are in the adventure. I read.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why they had art.
I even think that I messaged Dom and I was like, how are you gonna fate point this? Like, how are you possibly gonna fate point this? Because like how do you even fate point that? You know what I'm saying? Because you're by yourself.
In a demi-point with the tags.
Right, and the idea behind a fate point is that the other people kind of like pick you up after the fight sort of thing, but you're like gone. I was like, oh my god, we're gonna lose her completely.
Mm-hmm. That was was a really good role playing moment for me too. That situation where I just panicking and like I kept asking, go, what are they doing? I'll think about what I need to do. And then it's a good thing I had that like cloak. I'm like, oh, have this cloak. Like I'm on and try and look for a way out, and then Dom gave me a way out. And I just leveled up and got Wall of Force, which is one thing that you can stop a hag with.
Yeah. So that scroll of plane shift, you could have gotten it from the Giffyglyphs. So I just put it in the hag thing for you to get it.
Yeah, that was crazy intense. And then I just walked in like nothing happened. Like, okay, guys, I didn't just almost die.
Yeah. Yeah, like when you got there and you're like, is he gonna because I will say, I don't know if this ruins it or not, but for the adventure, they will let you go if you give them a memory. Yeah. But they're gonna what that memory is and what they're gonna want something that's juicy. So I don't know whatever you would have opened up, it would have been something that would have been juicy for them.
Well, I think you suggested I said like Selena tells them like the story so far and like, oh, that's so awful. Do you want me to take those awful memories away? I'm like, no, I didn't really. Messing with minds and like memories and stuff, that's really scary stuff when you think about it.
I will say this too, is that in this adventure there's a lot of moments where you they walk into this room and they gain a long-term madness, or they walk into this room and they gain a short-term madness, or things like that. I kind of scrapped all of them because I was like I hate the idea of like you there's no way I mean, yeah, it gives it the horror thing, but like now I have to pretend that I'm like this. And maybe it's fun for certain times, so I did it for some things, like Vito's constantly seeing the stuff inside the wall by himself, and like when Grandma seeing the faces in the sky, things like that.
Yeah, when you said that, I was like, I thought Auril was like coming in on us, like, oh my gosh, really? Then I was like, I look up too. Yeah. That reminds me of the thing in the Cave of Hunger behind the wall that like messes with your brain.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to know, where was the Tarrasque? Like, where was the Tarrasque? Like, it got spoiled for me by flipping Sirenscape. So Sirenscape
Didn't you find the scroll?
Yeah, we found the scroll.
Yeah, but like, all right. So for Sirenscape, for Extra Life, we had a Tarrasque. Right, it was kind of a big deal. And so I was trying to use Sirenscape because they were they were one of the sponsors. And I typed in Tarrasque, and it's like Rime the Frostmaiden, layer of the Tarrasque, and I was like, what? And then so like the whole campaign, I was like, there's a Tarrasque in this adventure. I know because I used the music layer of the Tarrasque from like this adventure. So where is the Tarrasque? And then when there was like the scroll of the Tarrasque, I was like, aha, there is a Tarrasque. And then it never showed up, and I was just like,
you guys never used the scroll.
Oh, was that the only way for the Tarrasque to show up?
Mm-hmm. So
it didn't have like a pen somewhere that you could have encountered.
No. So there's three endings to this campaign. There's the ending you guys did when you use the city to turn the weather back to normal and everything like that.
So did we get best ending? Did we get best ending?
Yeah, you did get best ending. I mean, it depends on what you think is best ending.
It was best ending.
So there's that. There's the summoning Tarrasque, and the Tarrasque, rampages through 10 towns, destroyed 10 towns, and then runs off into the sea of moving ice and freezes over, and it becomes like a frozen Tarrasque in the sea of moving ice.
Okay, that's dope. All right. All right, so we'll play it over. We're going to play it again. No, I'm just kidding.
And then the other one is if you took the Staff of Power and smacked it against the obelisk, it not rewinds time. It like undoes time until where the Netherese are at the height of their adventure. And you just
that is bananas. We completely rewrite like 10,000 years of Dungeons and Dragons. Yep. Okay, that would have actually been the best ending.
It's not even like you just get sent back in time. You undo time. Yeah. To the point where you're at that point where you're standing on top of your throne while it's floating normally, and you want to meet Eartharthus as in like when he's normal, not a demi-lich, and he's like, what are you doing here? Like what's going on?
Yeah.
And you're at the moment where they find the spindle. By the way, the spindle is what crashed your throne. The gem that you found floating inside the stasis area.
Were you mentally / physically prepared to run Back to the Future Dungeons and Dragons if we had let them turn back time, or did you just think we weren't going to let them do it?
That's the end of the campaign. If you do go back in time, you meet Eartharthus, and then that's the end of the campaign. Mm-hmm. I mean, if we continue running after, I mean, they say like, it's not part of it's not part of this adventure anymore, but like,
oh, the classic, what happens now is outside the scope of this adventure.
Yeah.
And they also say at the end, like, oh yeah, you could do that. If they do end up with that ending, here's the things they could go do. You should definitely check out our earlier products to run a
second edition
I
stuff.
Think that would be bananas. And what's crazy is when I first found out about that, I thought that's what we had to do. I thought we had to like destroy the Staff of Power. It's like, why would the wizards let you keep like a super dope magic item like that?
Yeah.
And then send it like, I thought it was supposed to go like, because we were all on this idea of Auril got tricked by Levistus or some crazy demonic taint going on there.
Honestly, that is such a better idea for this campaign.
Yeah, like the whole time I thought that she had been cursed by Levistus, and Levistus was like after her domain.
I was on that.
And,
too.
Yeah, like,
about that.
and then to find out that she was
Red?
Just being a grump, I was like, damn, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Red, when you run it, please do that.
Yeah, no, that would be very cool to do. And then like, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Whatever.
Yeah, when the Levistus thing ended up being a red herring, I was like so disappointed. I was so.
That ties in avarice. That ties in the whole with all.
It ties in.
It literally ties in everything.
When you came up with that idea, Crash, and you like said it out loud, I was like, oh my goodness! I went on the Discord and was like, my player just said this. This is such a good idea. I wish I could run this, but I already have everything else already prepped. I don't know how I can turn this around.
Yeah, because we're going back and being like, I wanted there to be a happy ending. I thought I got my idea back. So I thought what we had to do was break the staff, turn back time to the start of the winter when she starts going crazy, so we can like stop Levistus from getting to her and doing all that.
Yeah, I definitely thought there was going to be some Galagon like fights, other than the one. Well, sorry, Ice Devils that was like trapped in the circle or whatever. I legit thought like, oh wow, this is going to be rough. We're going to go against Ice Devils. We're going to be dealing with like cultists of Levistus. This shit's going to blow up. And then they were like, and then I'm asking them, I'm like, what's Levistus want? What are you doing? And they're just like, oh. And I was just like, the fuck? What do you mean you don't know? And then when she shows up and she's just like, I'm mad because I wasn't getting enough worship. I was like, are you fucking serious? I don't want to spoil other campaigns, but there's another campaign where the entire motivation of the BBEG is, I'm mad. Like, that's the whole campaign. The BBEG is just like, I'm upset. And I'm like, that's it? I just took 18 months of these people's lives up because you were upset. And I was like, they did it again. They did it again.
See, I thought the obelisk being cracked is what like freed Levistus or something like that, or like let his domain happen. So we had to fix that obelisk or something like that.
Oh yeah. I also hardcore thought there was going to be a stronger tie-in to like the Dritz books and the Crystal Shard.
Yeah,
like I was so
the tower, because I read like the comic book. I didn't read like, the physical book, but when we were exploring that tower,
I was like, this is the tower that the Crystal Shard made. This is amazing. And it's like, nah.
No, it's just like the bathroom.
There's just some illusionist like craft room at the bottom. I was like, what? Like the campaign, it was like like I said, it was like a roller coaster. I would be like, what? Oh shit!
I mean, considering the we found this cool like illusion thing that made everything we want. Oh, it's gone. Oh, we found this cool robot. Oh, it's gone.
Oh yeah, the robot. Oh my gosh, I was so excited for the robot.
Emotionally, the campaign really wore me out. Like the fights were awesome, but I think as far as the WotC adventure goes, I feel like it was a very good WotC adventure, and I feel like you took the best parts of it and made them better. But like, I just feel like with all WotC products, there were so many great opportunities that they missed, and a lot of people are like, how do you miss something that obvious or whatever? And a friend of mine once said, like, what is obvious to a dolphin is like invisible to a whale, essentially. So like, you know, we're down here in the trenches, we see it. We're like, oh, this is perfect for the Crystal Shard Tower. No. Oh, this would be amazing if Levistus was the main bad guy. No. They're like so big, you know, Wizards of the Coast. They're like so big, and they have so many accolades, and you know, the writers themselves are like, we're great because we work for Wizards of the Coast, and we're so awesome, and this and the other thing. Like, I feel like they just don't see these opportunities anymore that they might have seen when they were younger, hungrier writers. I don't know. So, yeah. Or maybe they're just trying to write a more simplistic tale. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot easier for the basic bitch player to get behind the idea that Ice Lady mad, you know? Yeah. But
I mean, if you don't know anything about D&D lore or anything like that, don't know who Levistus is, doesn't know, like, knowing that, hey, this god of ice is just upset.
This was more of a love letter to like D&D lore enthusiasts than Storm King's Thunder. Like, honestly, because it had Ythrin, it had the ancient Netherese Empire. It had so much great stuff in there. I kind of wish they had just sort of owned it and made it like the ultimate Easter egg collection for D&D lore enthusiasts, because it was ripe for that, you know. Though at the same time, I am glad that at no point did we actually encounter like Brunner Battlehammer, or well, he's dead now. When Canterbury's dead too. You know, but we didn't run into any of the champions of the hall that are still alive. We didn't run into Brunner's daughter, though. I think she lives much further south east, I want to say, of Yeah. We didn't run into any of those people because it didn't end up being that bad with like celebrity guest star appearances and all that jazz.
I think the only person who's like has any relationship to like a past adventure is the prisoner.
Yeah. It was good though. It was good, but I could definitely, even without reading it myself, just like looking at it and listening, to us talk about it, there's definitely some opportunities where it could have been even cooler. But I am reading the summoning the Tarrasque section, and there is a way that we could have used the Tarrasque as essentially a nuclear bomb to automatically kill Auril. So, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You also could do it with the comet too.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Could have dropped a comment on it.
It doesn't even say what to do with the comment. It's just like, here's a scroll comment. Have fun.
So a lot of people are like, yeah, they could just drop the comment on top of Grim Scala while she's there.
Yeah.
One thing too, apparently like with this adventure, you can. So I buffed up Auril a lot. I made her CR15.
You always have to with these WotC adventures. Yeah.
Normally she's a CR9, and you guys can fight her in chapter 5 and kill her.
And then what?
Exactly.
It's a possibility. Exactly. Like, you could just end the adventure because it says if you can kill the rock, then she can't cast her spell every day. So then she and then she just
and I'm sure rule like the adventure is written, it's just a normal rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh jeez. Yeah. Oh my God. Yikes.
So fight the normal rock. So there's a lot of people on the Discord are like, so yeah, my group ran to Auril in chapter 5 and he killed her already. I don't know what to do next.
Play something else, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough.
It's also really weird, and oh, go ahead. Excuse me.
I wasn't saying anything.
I talk a lot. Yeah. I'm very excited.
No, go for it.
I guess that's when you throw in. Sorry. I guess that's when you throw in Levistus, right? You just be like, oh well, it's not Auril that's the main bad guy. It's right.
So what a lot of people do, they make Eorthorthus the main bad, because he's supposed to be per the adventure, he's supposed to be the final boss that you fight.
But pacing wise, that doesn't really make sense because he's just a victim of circumstance, and she's the actual antagonist who caused all the bad things to happen.
Exactly.
And then
people are, God.
Yeah. Exactly. So
what I was gonna say for Velen, it's like right after you beat the dragon, just like, okay, Velen's just like constantly nagging at the party. Let's go find the city, you guys. Let's go find the city. And that seems like the opposite path. Like, no, we need to go stop the winter. What's the city gonna help? And then she's like, but the city could help.
So good thing is that
I would have definitely appreciated like some, hey, you guys are a bunch of basic bitches. Here's a little glowing path to follow. Like at certain points of this adventure, it honestly felt like I was like, we want to end winter, we have no idea how. And I get that that's like a part of the adventure, was trying to figure that out. We even went to like Auril's house and asked her, like, can you please stop winter? And she's like, go away. And it's just like, okay.
So one of the reasons why I made her not be so extremely like instantly hostile towards you guys, one, she's supposed to be like doesn't really care about you, and two, because of Selena and you guys.
I don't want to kill my daughter's friends. Like,
yeah, that was I love that we ended up with that as like a through.
Okay, something I am curious about. Why did Auril ask if I wanted to inherit her power? What was that about? That fed into my conspiracy theory that she was cursed by Levistus, and if she passed the curse on to me, then I would have freed her from the fucking curse. So that's why I was going to take her power. I didn't actually want her power. I thought that she was trying to get me to take the curse from her. Because, like, you look at the art for her. It's like some Beauty and the Beast shit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, like, I was like, oh, okay, I'll turn into a horrible owlbear monster so that she can be cured, and then she'll become our patron, and then she'll help us defeat Levistus. I was like, this campaign's awesome. And then you're like, roll a Constitution save, and I failed, and you're like, you're dead. Yeah, and I was like,
So that thing is that if you pass her tests, you're allowed to she's willing to give you some power because you performed the test correctly. And you show that you are willing to do what her tenets are. so you can get her power. But she's also like supposed to be a neutral evil demigod. So like, or I'll kill you. You know.
Well, because you told me afterwards that I asked, what was the power? Why don't you tell?
Tell
Crash when he would have won.
You gain immunity to cold, and then I think you can do cone of cold at will.
Cone of cold at will?
At will? No. Okay, hold on. Actually, let me double check.
There's no way.
It is crazy though. It is crazy. You're immune to cold, and you can do, I think, cone of cold like.
What was the save? What was the DC?
DC 21 Constitution.
I don't think I could have made it. I think I would have had to get a natural 20. I think I only had a +1 to my Constitution.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have had to get a natural 20.
Yeah, it's like a something crazy like that. Like immune to cold, your eyes are constantly glowing blue, and you can do cone of cold like a whole bunch of times. I don't know if it's at will or if it's just a whole bunch of times. Like you just do it.
Someone gonna let the devil out of his cage?
It's up to you.
Yeah. So what the hell was the devil with? What was the situation with the devil? So he obviously had nothing to do with Levistus either.
No, his job was to go and help Avarice do her thing.
If his job was to help Avarice, how was he in Ythryn if Avarice wasn't supposed to be in Ythryn?
No, so he was in Ythryn for forever, right? For 2,000 years, and then Avarice, is like, hey, Levistus, I want power, and so I'll do what you want me to do if you give me power. And Levistus is like, okay, I need you to go find something in this Netherese place to help me, escape. And Avarice is like, oh, I want to go to this Netherese place to find power. And then once she made that deal, Levistus tells that ice devil, okay, hey, you need to go help Avarice.
I am trapped here. I cannot.
Yeah, but he's trapped. He can't do anything.
Okay, but you know that on the 8th level of hell, the gate that leads to the 9th level of hell is guarded by 999 of these assholes. So, like, why does anybody give a shit about this one cockroach? Like, I don't understand.
No one does. He gave it to everybody, and that guy's trying to do his order.
Oh my god. I'm so mad.
I can help you if you let me out.
I felt bad for him, and I honestly felt like he could have been an ally to the party because devils are very lawful, and I feel like we could have evil genied some sick support from that dude. Mm-hmm. But I know that we had a lot of good aligned people in the party. I didn't want to put pressure on people. Plus, I feel like, despite what many people might think, I feel like Halibor, if there was an alignment system, was a good leaning person. So take that as you will. But maybe it was a hard life in 10 Towns, but I feel like she was a pretty good person overall. So But I would say the rest of you were much better aligned, except for Zahu, who killed Grandma and had no remorse.
Oh my goodness! I couldn't even with Zathu at that point. I don't care what happens to Zathu's character now.
Yeah.
If you were hanging out the edge, I would have.
That was the ultimate. Like the mask. The mask started to fall off when she started collecting men and stuffing them in her giant sack, and I was like, well, they're a giant now. That's probably. And I didn't want to sound racist. That's probably just a giant thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's probably just... Yeah. But then the Scooby-Doo mask fully came off when she laughed at dead grandma. And I was like, oh, look at that. It's been a murder hobo the whole time. This was a very murder hobo party. Like... I feel like we were probably the best behaved and best organized murder hobo party I've ever seen, but this was most assuredly a murder hobo party. Like, we knew we were leaving that town under the control of a mind flayer, and we just took our buddy and we left. Because,
I wasn't even there for those sessions, and I went back and watched it.
I did not want to, but I was like, Klank doesn't know this. You know what I mean? Like,
what is happening?
He would not have figured out this pouch thing. Like... So
it wasn't a mind flayer. It was a ghost. It was a ghost herbalist who a ghost herbalist who like took control of this
kobold
who had wings. I mean, didn't have wings. He's like, okay, I'll just put on some wings because I know kobolds think that
unreal.
He knows a little bit. So he's like, okay, I'll take this group of kobolds and we'll go find a town and see if they'll let us in. And then he goes in and he like is like speaking in like a weird like accent. He's like, and the 10 towners, they're they just see a horde of kobolds coming into their town, and they don't know what to do. They get scared and just run off. So no one has really talked to him or anything like that. That's why when you guys go talk to him, he's like, yeah, I don't want any problems. I just want to, go find, go to town and talk to them.
Right, well, I feel a little bit better leaving the town in the control of a herbalist ghost than.
I mean, he's not a good leader though. He's just a simple.
There were no good leaders in 10 towns.
No,
yeah.
Really.
Yeah, I really like the idea of setting up the kobold sanctuary for Valid too. Just like as a goal for Selena as well. My favorite character like interaction was teaching Klank how to read. That was like my favorite.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Like in between character like roleplay that we did.
Klank learning some of his letters and
then it like spreads. The literacy spreads to all the new kobolds in Icewind Dale at the sanctuary. They can spill.
What with those chewingas? Is there anything special with them, or they're just random?
So they're just random seeded things. Like you can find them as a random encounter, and if you do stuff that they want, they give you a charm.
See, I'm so bad about trying to like connect everything in an adventure together because I was like, these chewingas, they're like the eyes and ears of Auril out in the world, and I had just completely written a completely different campaign. I was like, and they're trying to find people that could like help break the curse. I wrote my own fucking adventure in my head of like what we were doing, and then every time something happened, I was like, huh, that's
dead end?
Yeah,
Chardalyn.
Yeah. Like, I understand Chardalyn was the remains of the tower made by the Crystal Shard. So that's why I was like, oh, we're going to the tower that was from the Crystal Shard. Oh, man, we're going to have to fight the remnants of the Crystal Shard. It's going to be this crazy psychic battle where we keep turning on each other. Oh, man, it's going to be fucking crazy. And then it's like, arts and crafts room. And I was like, wow, okay.
Because you're like, oh, the Crystal Shard was broken. Oh, it must have grown itself back from one of the pieces or something crazy.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is like when Venom made Carnage. Oh my god, this is amazing. This is like the offspring of the Crystal Shard, the Chardalyn Shard. Oh man, it's gonna be fucking crazy. And it's gonna have all these like monsters and people show up that it's like brainwashed because we keep finding all these Chardalyn zombies everywhere. Oh, this is gonna be fucking amazing! I was like the Dwegar. They've been brainwashed by the offspring of the Crystal Shard. Oh, this is gonna be so cool. And it was like
just like these rocks.
I mean, Zarrock what did go crazy because of the Chardalyn.
Yeah,
right. Fair.
Oh, and there was those Chewingas that attacked us too, and that was also...
the Chewingas got corrupted by it as well. But that's like the Chardalyn was just a way for you to find out that the Duergar are doing stuff.
Okay, so do you know how conspiracy theory corkboard with yarn I got on this adventure? I thought that the Chardalyn was corrupted like by Levistus, like the remains of the Crystal Shard. I thought that he was having his followers use it to take control of the region. I thought it was like the currency that they were using to like basically brainwash all these other factions and into helping him maintain control of the region and maintain like the imprisonment of Auril. I mean, I'm telling you,
I was right there with you. It's something like a or something they were using to build with it, or
yeah. I was like, what do they do with this Chardalyn? I have to go.
All the cultists are wearing these necklaces.
Yeah.
So the way.
And I thought we were finding all these people all over the place, and the gnolls and everybody else, and they're all like worshiping the Chardalyn. I thought there was going to be some wild ass shit where they were like building Levistus a body out of people and Chardalyn. And they needed something from Ythrin to activate this giant body that they were building for him. And then Levistus was going to come into the world, into this body made of Chardalyn and like gnolls and barbarians and stuff like that. They were just like an amalgamation of like flesh and stone. I was like, this adventure's fucking crazy. And then it was like, the dwarves are like, nah, we just like Chardalyn. And I'm just like,
yeah, we're getting here to build this dragon to take over 10 towns. That's all.
Well,
what?
Yeah, that's like, I think the fail state of the adventure is Zardarok takes over Icewind Dale, but what ends up happening is that it's not inhabitable. It just becomes a godforsaken wasteland. Everyone leaves or dies, and then Levistus comes in with his cronies and starts to take over, like through the dwarves.
So the dwarves, the devil that was controlled, that was kind of manipulating the dwarves.
Oh yeah. Condor.
He's from Condor. He's supposed to be a buddy of Asmodeus.
There he is.
So so that's the reason why the cult of Levistus, the Black Swords with Avarice, and the dwarves did not like each other, because the dwarves were being controlled by Asmodeus, and the cult was being controlled by Levistus. And the story behind that. So that was supposed to be that whole thing. That's the only reason why they don't like each other.
Also, yeah, there was like devils like sprinkled everywhere, like the Yugoloth. And then I remember that devil that showed up like right at like the front door to the Auril Arthas's final room.
That devil is just somebody who who made a bad deal with.
Guy.
he was just a barb devil who just made a bad deal with Thrin a long time ago.
Yeah. To guard the door.
What else? Let's see, biggest. Anything else I want to?
A moment of silence for our robot.
You have your four dead companions. We have Garrett, first one. Yeah, we have the Squeaky, the robot.
Oh, and
Mammoth, Cat, and Grandma.
The cat.
The cat was real unfortunate, Vitos. I'm sorry that happened.
Okay, it was taking too long to set up what I wanted to do. The idea was to bring Mammoth into battle and then have him get me advantage on my animal handling checks with my summon cat, but yeah, that didn't work out. It took too long to set up.
Now, if you enjoyed the idea of having this like dope cat to like control and stuff like that, the next time you're a player, you should see if the DM will let you run Matt Colville's new Beastmaster that they made. It's really cool. It's a really cool class. It plays a lot like a World of Warcraft hunter. Like you build up ferocity and then use the ferocity to power the moves of your pet monster, essentially. But yeah, it's. I'm very excited about it, and I want to see somebody play it and then ask them how it goes. But they kind of felt like it would have been cool if like you could have gotten more interactions with summoning your patron. Those summon spells, like the only person I've seen have decent success with it was Selena, with these new Tasha's summoning spells.
Oh yeah, summon undead. That was
yeah. Your dude was beast mode. Everyone else I've seen, they lose concentration so fast that like it never really seems to get any traction.
Yeah, and I made tokens for all the versions of it. I made a flame skull and like a ghost.
Maybe don't attack the person that has one.
Well, those people need to like move around the corner so they're not like. That's what you do when you're a spellcaster. You cast a concentration spell, and then you get out of the way, That's what you do.
Yeah.
That's like 5th edition spellcasting 101. Cast your dope concentration spell and leave. Go make a sandwich. Like.
I really liked the towers. I know you got like extra soft ones for those, but I did like each of the towers felt really cool. Even though I was a little tired of the touch a thing, it's a trap. Because I kept falling for it like every time.
When you touched a thing and had to put on a goddamn opera, me and Hellebore just like checked out. I was just like, yes! I was like, nobody in this goddamn... We're murder hobos. No one in this goddamn party is spec'd for this challenge. I'm like, I'm just gonna sit outside. If they die, they die. They got fate points. I'll go like slap them awake after it's over. But I was like, I am not dying to this bullshit. Because it had to have been like the 15th tower by that point. And it was just like...
Well, it was just the opera house. That wasn't even a tower.
Yeah.
That was just... You guys were so nice to me. Satisfy my completionist. I want to go see everything in the city. Let's go. It's Disneyland. God, that was an awful one though. There was no real reward for that. It was just on top of Grandma just died. Okay, encounter. Oh my God. Felt so bad.
I think the.
I mean, you got the wand out of it. That was a way to get the wand without having to craft it.
Yeah, it was a way to get one of the wands. Yeah, I liked how we got our wand. That was very special to me.
The entire wizard city, I think I had no spells, and I was just like, well, I'll just be support.
You guys were just pushing,
yeah.
I gave
the entire city.
I gave you guys you guys found a couple of areas where there was pearls, and I was like, okay, yeah, they has a couple options to rest if they wanted to and go back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cat, don't lay down on the keyboard.
I think it was the rivalry you had created between us and Avarice that wouldn't allow us to rest, because we did not want to lose any time to her. Mm-hmm. Do you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't even that we didn't feel comfortable resting, because you gave us the resources to rest. I think it honestly collectively was we just didn't want to deal with the possibility that we would miss out on something and she would get it. So
yeah, that's the thing. So if you guys did do some resting and stuff like that, there might have been a tower you went to that was already done.
That's and that's why that's I think without us even saying anything to each other, you had conditioned us throughout the campaign to hate Avarice that much that we were just like, we're never gonna rest. And we will limp into the last battle with Avarice and punch her in the throat if we have to, but we're not gonna let her have anything.
Yeah, that was a fantastic editing for Avarice too.
For her to get disintegrating. I think that was one.
I was like, I know I'm gonna use it on.
So my favorite moments, I think, were disintegrating Avarice. That really caught me off guard, and that was awesome. Vitos's one shot of that shade guy inside the Cave of Hunger, where it's like this guy is yelling out random stuff, and it's like just a single dude with a crown hanging out there, and then Vitos comes around the corner and Guardian Bolts crits him.
Yeah, we're really scared of him too, because he's just sitting there. He's not doing anything. He's just standing there, menacingly.
Yeah. Instant melt.
Yeah, you one shot of elite. I was like, oh my goodness. There's that. There was Hellbor's mom stuff.
Yeah,
it was really good. At the beginning, one of my favorite things was the avalanche, and just the getting left behind and have that being a running joke for a while.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Let me see. Pretty much any moment where I had to bring up the cut-ins, they're really good.
There was that clutch save in the Charm Tower where we were you had us hook, line, and sinker for the whole thing, and then we get up to the tower, and then you're like, everyone make charisma save, and we're like, fuck.
Yep. I was hoping that it wouldn't show the art for the actual Ubalex when I made her attack, but when it did that, and it was like, okay, well, it's out of the bag now. So,
well, that was after
Well, no, because you guys got charmed, and I'm pretty sure you guys thought it was.
We still thought it was her. Yeah.
Yeah, you thought it was her, and then you went and tried to take your crown off, and then I was like, okay, I need to make her make this save. Hopefully, it doesn't show the actual art of the monster, and just shows her the token art. But it showed the art of the monster. So.
I've used an Ubalex 4 times. No one has ever figured out that there was an Ubalex. It's such a great monster. Such a great monster.
Died from a campaign from that.
My thing is this: if an Ubalex is played correctly, why would an Ubalex start shit with an adventuring party? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like a super intelligent slime that wants to live parasitically off of a town or settlement. Why would it gets the knowledge of everyone it eats, so it knows what adventurers are and what they're about and what they do. Why would it ever cause problems with adventurers? There's people people are disappearing, this and that thing. In fact, in the one game, the Ubalex set up somebody to take the fall for the people going missing, so the adventurers took care of that person and thought that they had resolved the problem, and then left, and the Ubalex went back to business. It's such a great monster. Such a great monster. So, Though I guess it'd be the ultimate score for an Ublex would be to eat an adventuring party, because then you would be so strong, like so strong.
They ate the wizard, but like that's the only thing it ate for 2,000 years. So it's like it wanted more food.
Oh yeah. Couldn't it like temporarily steal some of our abilities, or did it have to eat the person to steal their abilities?
It has to brain drain them for a couple times.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, he brain jaded Vitos once, though. So.
So what was Xeraphon's deal?
Oh, Xeraphon? He's. I mean, you guys called it pretty early on. He's a doppelganger.
Oh, really? He was just a doppelganger the whole time?
Yeah, he's a doppelganger. There he is.
What?
I like to imagine we're just like at this party, like talking with all the NPCs, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm doppelganger." Pulls off his face.
There's actually a couple doppelgangers that are inside this adventure. You remember these two, Helmina and Ianric?
Yeah.
Both doppelgangers.
Both doppelgangers?
Oh.
Whoa! I know there's a secret too that's you're a doppelganger.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And there's.
Wonder why there's so many doppelgangers in this campaign.
Because they're a horror theme. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it's because it's like kind of a remote location or something, so it's
that too.
maybe...
Like so when you found Ianric and Helmina inside the dungeon, inside the prison, inside the place, they were captured doppelgangers. So they were trying to, when they saw you, they're like, hey, yeah, it's us again, as humans, as half elves. Let's get out of here.
Oh.
But
things were so stressful at that point. I would have saved them. Now what the fuck they were?
Yeah, and I liked the mechanics. I liked the week-long rest, especially for like spellcasters. That felt real, and like going from place to place, and we're like keeping track of our supplies. But definitely towards the end, it was definitely.
I would say that it felt in the beginning. It was really important because it felt like that was why our characters were so bound to each other, right? Because we lived with each other for months. You know what I'm saying? Like we had that downtime to establish like these people are more than just co-workers or mercenaries. Like they are friends. Like they have had this time together. They've gone through shit together. They've taught, they teach each other to read and like write. They're like making tea together and all sorts of stuff. And again, the pacing of a normal D&D 5e game is just like it's Hollywood blockbuster pacing. It's just constant on the move, always moving, catch your breath, keep moving, and the whole adventure's over in 2 weeks. And it's just like, that's dumb. But yeah, I agree with Red. I think that the Giffyglyph long resting stuff is great at lower levels, but it starts to adversely affect the narrative at higher levels. Because at higher levels, you do need to move faster, and you do need to get those resources back faster. And it just doesn't become viable, in my opinion, at like the higher levels. Yeah,
I feel like for like the first part of it, where you're just like having fun in 10 towns, exploring all the stuff, definitely do something like that. But as soon as like you deal with the dragon, like now like the real story has started, where it's like, okay, now we gotta go take care of Auril, we need to go take care of the Thrin and everything in between. Then it's like probably switch to like the faster stuff. But definitely I feel like slowing it down really helped. It helps the characters like become friends and like become like a party. That way towards the end, like, cause I read a bunch of stuff where it's like you gain this flaw, like you don't trust anyone, like the madness things you were talking about, Don. That's like all over that later half of the book. Yeah,
I was like, I'm not a big fan of like you failed this thing and now you have to roleplay as this. Like, if you want to do that, that's up to you as for your character. You know what I mean? Like physical stuff, yeah, that happens. Like you lost an eye or things like that. That stuff you can't handle. Like the mental stuff, I feel like it's up to the player to figure out if what happens to their character or not. I'm not gonna force that on somebody, because also that could be triggering for some people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a big thing with 5e's madness rules, that they're definitely a holdout from an earlier age when there was not a lot of respect or care given to people with mental illness. And you know, nowadays you've got D&D being used by psychiatrists and psychologists and stuff like that to actually help people deal with those issues. Yet at the same time, you've got adventures that are still pushing that old narrative of like, you know, now your character has OCD. Like fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like
the farthest I'll go is that you start seeing stuff. That's it.
Yeah, and if you want to do madness with mechanics, if you just want to mechanically do madness, that's what the confusion status is for. So if you really want that to happen, you say like, oh, you're hallucinating, you're seeing the things you fear the most, blah, blah, blah. And then you could either give them like a phobia of a particular monster type or scenario or something like that. Or you can just say like, you know, oh, in the middle of combat, like your fears or your madness is just overcoming and now you have confusion status. And then, you know.
Yeah, so during the time when Klank got infected by the same disease that Velen had. There was a thing where you start seeing stuff. And so there's a mod that makes it so that you can make it so that certain tokens only appear for certain people.
Oh man.
So I wanted to see if I can get that mod, but it was a very old mod. I don't know if it still works now. It's very old. But I wanted to try and get that so that where you guys are in a fight, all of a sudden there'll be like, I don't know, a random...
I know someone who would have donated a lot of money to charity if we could have used that mod on Red. Oh man.
For which?
So,
for what?
For, you know, having Care Bears show up on every map.
Oh. I look back on that and it was great. That was so good.
Yeah. What a terrible mod when you think about the implications of it. Oh my god. Yeah.
Like for you hallucinating, like
yeah,
I thought Vitos was going crazy for sure with this because he kept seeing people swimming through walls and was like, wait, what?
You guys don't see that?
Yeah, that was great. And you all played it so well, and it's like, oh my gosh, we need to get out of here.
I felt like at that point, Halibor had gotten so jaded to like just the weird shit that was going on that she was just staring at Vitos, who was staring at the wall, and was just like, whatever. Like, I don't know. Dude talks to like angel cats. I don't know. Whatever. So.
Right, exactly. My brother was like a cyborg.
Yeah, that was great.
So we have gone over 90 minutes, but I was gonna ask, if it's okay to ask, when you guys started the campaign and you had your idea for your character, did your character end the campaign where you thought they would, or near where you thought they would, or did they go in a completely different direction than you thought they would? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I'll start with mine. So, like, all I knew is I wanted to play somewhat of like a neutral, very effective, know all of like different types of spells that I could, Minotaur. So I think I did pretty good at that, but I didn't really have an end goal with the role playing because I was so new to it, doing it for so long, like such a full fleshed out character. So I don't know. I think Vitos ended up what I imagined him to be like.
Cool.
I always picture like because you guys have like little things that you were doing, like Halibor with her blaze root and gummies, and Vitos with his tea. Selena wanting to like teach Klank how to read, Klank with his rocks, you know, Xathu with her mansack, and and like the little tiny rivalries between Halibor, Xathu, and Quan. Like all this stuff was actually pretty nice. Like I could picture like Vitos and Halibor like making tea and Halibor putting some blaze root in there, you know, doing stuff like that, like during those downtime moments.
Yeah, I feel like that would be the best character art to encompass this campaign, despite all the crazy cool shit that happened, would just be like camping. Because I feel like when the characters were camping was when they were like relieved. You know what I'm saying? Because they were just like, oh my god, we finally get to rest. Because more than like most campaigns, like we ran these characters hard. like before we let them rest. So yeah.
Who wants to go next about their character arc?
I guess I'll go. Yeah, with Klank, I just really wanted, like, the only idea I had for him really was the redemption kind of thing of, you know, hating dwarves but then not. You know what I mean? And then everything else I kept open. I'm not as much like as you guys said, like you guys kept pushing, kind of like made fun of, oh, Klank's the MC, that kind of thing. Like, I'm not really a front character type of person. I'm more, you know, I tend to go more support from the background kind of thing. So, like, that was definitely new experiences to be part of the head of the party kind of thing. For the face. I
mean, he Klank was always the one that said hi first.
Yeah. That's something I didn't plan for at all. You know, I'm not, as I said, I'm not really like the face of a group or anything like that. I've never been anything like that. So it was a unique experience.
I appreciated it because when I am a player, I frequently end up playing the face for the party. Like, usually support and then usually the face. And Hellebore was such an obnoxious bitch that I just can't imagine we would have gotten anything done if she was the face of the party. So it was like it was cool to see this character, Klank, who was not at all spec'd to be a party face, kind of going into that role. Like, we didn't even have a charisma warlock, right? We had an intelligence warlock. So so nobody would have been a good face for the party. So in the end, Adorable Kobold was the perfect choice. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yep. Alrighty.
We didn't even have a charismatic paladin, if I'm being honest.
So. Oh boy.
I will.
Well, did Xathu, like, I know, because you and I talked about it, I know that Xathu did not end up how you initially intended to play them.
Xathu
right?
was supposed to be a, like, boring, super neutral, here to be strong character. And she wasn't strong. She did really bad on her rolls and everything. And she got big. I don't know, like, all this crazy stuff happened, and I wasn't expecting it for Xathu. She was just supposed to be like, yep, I'm a soldier. I swing my weapon. I kill things.
Just a stalwart frontliner. Yeah.
You had so much attitude, though. Like, you know what I mean? I think so.
I gave up after, once I got comfortable actually playing with you guys. I was just like, this is so boring. I'm just gonna play Xathu how it feels in my gut to play her. And
with the interaction between Xathu, Quan, and Hellebore was so great.
Yes, I agree.
So glad. Came out really well.
What about Selena? Did Selena turn out the way you envisioned?
Oh yeah. Like, my initial cuts, obviously, I don't know, it's a big surprise when I start shooting green fire everywhere. I definitely wanted to be like a Maleficent kind of wizard character, kind of neutral to neutral evil. Only in it because her brother's there. And then when Ari left, that, like, when Sarek left to do his own quest,
of coaching Little League for
coaching Little League.
For no mind players, right?
Yeah,
they're down here.
It definitely forced me to, like, get to know everyone's characters, like, in a role playing standpoint. Obviously, I'm crazy interested in everyone's characters out of the game, but doing it in game. And then the whole secret thing really changed the dynamic of, because I didn't think of anything in the beginning, but then as we were going on, it was like, oh yeah, I'll just do this. I'm the child of the Frostmaiden, and I got to do that joke at the end. So I had resistance to cold the whole campaign up until the last fight there. So the cold never really bothered me anyway. That was really fun to do.
I did think for a brief second that you were going to betray us to Auril at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there was that
briefest moment where I was like, oh.
Yeah, because Dom, because I when I killed my sisters, I had the frostmaiden. I did it with a cone of cold. Dom said, and I was all frosty. My eyes started glowing blue. I had the wings for a second, That was really fun. And you and you getting like upset that that my character had like a bonus in those trials, those awful trials, because I was evil, and you were so certain I was evil. That was really fun.
I mean, you did end up finding that little sculpture of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was and like the sculptures of the other people too. But yeah, I really liked how Selena ended up, and like befriending Vel, another wizard, and then teaching Klank how to read. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, it's very good.
It's interesting that you say you wanted them to be sort of a neutral evil character, because I feel like Selena was the most good character after Klank in the party.
That's how like I envisioned her. And then it's like when I found like that scroll of Tarask summoning and the scroll of common, I'm like, why would a goodly aligned character ever use this?
Right.
It just summons the Tarask. You don't have control over it. You just summon it. Like you just destroy everything.
Yep.
Like the only good thing to do would be to destroy it, but at the same time, I'm playing a wizard, and they want to covet like knowledge and stuff. Like, I bet Selena still has a scroll, but it's like under heavy lock and key.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like Selena definitely explored like the rest of your Thrin. Probably went back to Grimskala and like did some soul searching there, and then I really liked how she ended up.
I feel like Selena, like she was good, except when you did something to cross her. Like when you like.
Oh, when Sarek left me for dead, that was there's no goodly brother sister relationship anymore.
That
was really fun.
Pissed off. Like Avarice, because if you think about it, Avarice was very very annoying to you guys, but if you think about it, she never really actually did anything to just show up at the worst times and make fun of you.
Right. But she was just like the mean girl in a Disney after school show.
She was.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So she got disintegrated. That's why.
Just like Torga didn't do anything to us, right?
Yeah. Torga, she was just mean.
Just mocked us.
Yeah. 18 gold, huh? 18 gold.
That's what I mean when I say that this was the most well-organized murder hobo party of all time, but it was a murder hobo party. Like, there's no question this is a murder hobo party.
Like the guys that were just trying to, hunt some whale to get some oil to make some money.
Fireball.
You just blew up all the oil.
Those are explosive, right?
Oh, yeah. Poor dude. He had to lock it. He had a wife back in Good Mead.
We all had wives back in Good Mead. Whatever.
Yeah, when Garrett was lost, I was just like, it's inevitable.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, we're half an hour over from what we planned. So, I guess as a closing remark, I just want to say I had a blast running this adventure, running this campaign. I'm so glad that I had such a good group of players, and so I just want to say thanks guys, and Gal for running, playing this with me, doing this. This is really fun.
No, you did great. You did a great job. I'm very happy with the experience. So.
Yeah, definitely appreciate you running it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
It also made me want to be even better at DMing, which frequently happens when I'm a player, but for good reasons this time. Like frequently as a player, I'll be a player and I'll be like, wow, this is horrible for all these reasons. And now I'm going to go back to DMing and try to make sure that I don't have these things happen when I'm DMing. But with you, it was just like the care every week, like the care that was put into the prep and the adventure, and making sure that we were engaged and making sure that we, all had a chance to speak, all had a chance in the spotlight, just the meticulous and organized way that you stuck to the narrative, honored the adventure, told the story that was there to be told. That was all really inspiring stuff for me as a DM. So that was an awesome takeaway for me.
Thanks. All right.
Yeah, it was fantastic to finish. I'm so glad the group that we had for it. Like, I looked forward to every Wednesday, especially when the world's going to crap around us.
Yeah, it was really good. I had something to do every Wednesday. Actually, I had something to do pretty much every night. Like, I probably
yeah. Oh, the amount of prep for this, absolutely. Like I was always floored. I was like, good God. And then I could always tell. I was like, all right, so did you make this map? And you were like, yeah. And I was like, wow. Like, oh my God. I was like, I looked at my DM badge and I was like, maybe I should turn this into the Sarge. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I can handle this.
I mean, I like the reason why this is possible is because I only have one game and a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah, but you didn't have to give it this much. I've been in groups where the DM shows up every week late and disorganized, and you could tell that they're just winging it because they didn't read the adventure, and like it never happened here. Like you treated this like with so much care. It showed. It was really appreciated.
All right, thanks. Well, that's the.
So what's on the horizon for everybody? That's a good way to end this. Yeah. So, are you running anything this year anytime soon, Dom?
Well, since I'm in so many games right now, I probably won't have time to run anything.
Oh, that's right. Because you're doing Strixhaven with Sylvie, you do Witchlight with me.
Yeah, and Mythic.
And then Mythic.
So that's already three games this week in a week.
And
I don't think I'll have to run.
KZ Klank is running their Odyssey game. Are you doing anything else like right now?
No, it's pretty much that, and having a 2-year-old. So
yeah, fair.
Fair. That takes a lot of time.
Oh man, a 2-year-old.
Yeah, it's yeah.
So what's next for Vitos DX Shadows? Like what do you got on the horizon? Now that you've completed, this is like you said this is your first full campaign.
Yeah, full first campaign. I don't have anything planned right now. I'm keeping my eyes out for maybe like a Sandbox type of style. That's kind of the route that I would go as a player again. But just enjoying the content of other games and stuff like that, being able to watch people here and there. So
I mean, if you like Sandbox and it hasn't been spoiled for you, Storm King's Thunder is a very good adventure in my opinion, and it's a big ass sandbox. So that one's pretty fun. But if you want like even more Sandbox, there's definitely different West Marches games that are way better than what we tried to do with Paradise Vale. Not to throw shade on myself and the people who did Paradise Vale, but I've checked out some of these servers that are completely dedicated to the West Marches experience, and they've got like shopkeeper bots and trainer bots and bots that like automate all the stuff, and then it's really just like finding a group that week and going out on an adventure and coming back and cashing in and then getting ready for the next adventure. And so it's a real nice casual way to play D&D and meet different people and try different things without having to do Adventurers League, because Adventurers League. So what about you, Red? My pirates, they believed you when you said that you were going to run a Spelljammer adventure for them, but then you signed up for 47 different campaigns.
I am.
So
I'll have to find a way to do it. I don't know. This is the same thing that happened last year. So when Frostmaiden was coming to come, I was like, that's it. I'm going to run that game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pick up the book, and I did. And this book has sat on my shelf for a whole year. I didn't read it because I joined this game, and now it's happening all over again with Witchlight. So I bought the Witchlight book, and now I'm joining it, but that one seems to probably be a little bit shorter.
I think Witchlight will actually move very quickly. Having read it and started to run it, when they said there's not a lot of combat, there's not a lot of combat.
Okay.
There's so little combat that somebody is making money selling combat encounters on DM's Guild for you to slot into the campaign, because there's not enough combat
to force
encounters.
combat to happen.
Yeah, pretty much. They're like, if you love combat, but it's not there, you can buy these supplements basically. But yeah, you're in a Curse of Strahd game You're in the Odyssey of the Dragon Lords game. You're in the Strixhaven game.
Stop.
and you're in the Witchlight game.
I don't have a problem. You have a problem.
Okay, yeah, that's
I
fine.
wouldn't have the brain power for that many characters. Like,
I don't know.
No,
I'm not sick of D&D yet, so but I definitely do want to run maybe a mini series for the pirates. I do have a bunch of notes already written down, so I'm gonna endeavor to have that happen.
That kept them from breaking down to tears last night was knowing that Uncle Red was going to take them to space. That was the only thing that kept them from crying last night.
I just hope they're ready for what's out there.
But you're not the only one with a D&D addiction, because Volpe is in 400 D&D games, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be a player in 4 and DMing 2 by the time summer comes around.
Oh my god!
I haven't even dipped my toes in the DM yet, but I'm excited to.
It'll be my.
It's a lot. It is a lot of work.
It'll be my 3rd and 4th campaign.
I have no idea how Crash does it.
30. Holy moly!
Yeah, I've already finished running a Theros campaign, and then I am in the middle of doing a Tales campaign, and then I'll be running Curse of Strahd and Tyranny, but a better version of Tyranny.
Oh boy.
Yeah, definitely inspired by Dom to make it as good as I can. So when I eventually run my first campaign. But
it's a high bar.
Just the Spelljammer pirate adventure right now, because it is a lot of brain space been taken up.
If I do run something while I'm playing in all these games, I'll probably do like another mini Monster Hunter.
Yeah, my thing this year, I thought about relaunching Hero Quest and doing Classic Compendium Darker Dungeons Hero Quest. Basically doing Hero Quest over again, since I already have all the maps in Foundry and all that, and then just kind of redoing it. So I had thought about doing that, but I do have that whole Gothic horror thing that I spent 38 weeks streaming like the world building for. I kind of feel like I need to use the world that everybody spent 38 weeks building, so there's some pressure there to maybe try to run some one-shots to sort of develop the world a bit more with actual gameplay. And then maybe when Witchlight is over, I could look at running a short campaign set in the world that has been developed with some one-shots. So that's probably what I'm looking at around everything else. So
I did back Raiders of the Lost Sea. That's one I would definitely look into running or playing in.
Doing a Viking Odyssey.
Yeah,
it's another long.
There's a lot of pressure and expectation for me to run that, especially from the actual writer of that adventure.
Oh no!
So,
I mean,
yeah,
I bet they got a lot of advertisement from you running this.
Well, I've been talking to the writer directly since I found out about it. Like, he and I are, I guess, friends. So
that's awesome.
Like, yeah, and like he and I guess I get to sit down with him to talk about it while he's polishing it, and I'm going to sit down and talk to Meditating Monkey, and I guess be consultant for the Roll20 module for it.
Wow!
So that'll be pretty neat.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But
I got Mythic Battles Ragnarok about the same time, like after, so that'll come out about the same time. And so I didn't know if I was going to look into an in-person version of it.
That'd be fantastic. Yeah, I have Blood Rage. That's pretty much the only Viking minis I have. But, that might be enough. So, if I decided to run it. But, I don't know. If I ran it, I'd probably run it online. And I was heartbroken to see that it got enough funding to go to level 20. Because I don't want to run another campaign to level 20. Yeah. So, I'd have to be like, maybe like the core story, and then be like, and that's that. Sorry, I don't want to run any more high level D&D. It hurts my brain. So don't get me wrong, high level D&D, it's the hypest shit you're ever gonna do, but it's also gonna hurt your brain. Like,
fifth level D&D is pretty hype.
Yeah, no, trust me. The stuff that we were doing in Skills of War, after every session, like, I would cry a little because my brain hurt so much because I had to bring one brain against 6 brains that all had access to a shitload of stuff and still provide a challenge for them. Do you know what I mean?
Looking at what happened in the miniseries for Storm King Thunder's after series that you did, all that stuff. than the stuff that's going on in Skull Shackles. Yeah, and that's not even 18.
Now
19,
keep in
20.
mind that you're a player, right? And if you've ever had your turn come up and you're like, I don't know what to do. Okay, now imagine that, but with 15 plus levels worth of items and abilities and boons and all that, and your turn comes up. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to keep track of. But I do recommend that people try it because you are going to get to do some of the craziest shit you could imagine. Way cooler shit than you would do at low levels. But I did actually earlier this week was telling somebody that as long as you use Giffyglyph bosses, it doesn't matter what level you are, you're gonna have an awesome boss fight. But yeah, you could do some pretty wild stuff at the higher levels. So I thought part of why I like this campaign is I felt like ending at level 12 was the perfect level to end at, because it's right when the game's starting to break. And it's right when you're starting to get really strong. It's kind of a good stopping point where you could tell a good story and have a pretty hype ending without things getting completely out of control.
Yeah, and there was just enough time to enjoy that extra power boost.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Before we're done, let's wrap.
Yeah. So. All right,
unless you lose all your spells for succeeding at a cost.
Yes, unless you lose all your high-level spell slots for succeeding at a cost.
I lost
can't do
all of
anything.
I didn't cast anything above a level 4, just because I succeed at a cost every time. I love the mechanic though. The mechanic's great.
That's the cost.
Yeah.
At least you're not bumping your head on stuff and losing half your
Consistently losing half their HP.
To the point where your mini gets a helmet.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited now because every group has succeeded at cost now that I run. And let me tell you, without too many spoilers, that the first night of consequences, boons, and succeeded at cost in Prime, Odyssey Prime, was well beyond my expectations of insanity. It was absolutely stupid. The amount of... I think we started a major boss fight with 3 consequences via initiative rolls.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was bananas.
I called it out because I need to see where this goes. I can't.
and one of them was reroll initiative next round. So there.
And you guys do pop. Don't do.
And they use regular initiative.
You
so
have to reroll it.
So we did reroll it, and it was very disruptive. It was very disruptive. It was wild. So I'm excited to see. I wish we had it in Skull and Shackles the whole time, because I think that campaign would have really. I really would think it would have benefited from it, and I know that almost every person in that group would have succeeded at cost every flipping time, just to see what wild shit happened. Yeah. So. All right. Well, it has been an amazing campaign and a good year. And it sounds like everybody's got some good stuff going on. I don't want anybody to leave the server because I'm trying to organize more community stuff so that we could, maybe not always have to play D&D. Get some video game nights set up and watch nights and things like that. So kind of build the community up a little bit, especially if things are heading back towards more social distancing and more lockdowns. I feel like having a nice place online to go is going to be more important than ever. So
it's nice running into Terry in Final Fantasy 14 every once in a while.
Yeah,
it's a great community. So
yeah. All right, night guys. I'm gonna head out.
Alrighty. All right, good night, everyone.
Cool. See you all later.
Heading out for the final time, everyone. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.